Extra Credits, a YouTube channel that somehow amassed over 2.1 million followers. You may not have heard of them. You may have already heard of them due to this recent controversy. Extra Credits does a video and it heroically states, "Stop normalizing Nazis. Socially conscious game design," because that's what we need today. We need less Nazis and more hugs in our games. This video is 5 minutes and 56 seconds of pure cancer. It is probably one of the most retarded virtue signals you'll ever come across on this. No, I take it back. The future, Lord knows what it holds. But it's a whole lot of stuff like this. It starts off immediately by placing you in the shoes of this sexually dubious young gamer who obviously likes green hair and green clothes and a body shaped like a jelly bean when he is forced to do the unthinkable. He must play as a Nazi. Oh God, the horror.
What?
There you are, playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a Nazi. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. Yet there it is. And it's treated no differently than playing a British soldier.
The funny thing is, if you are playing said game that has these horrible Nazis, so probably Battlefield 5 or, Red Orchestra or whatever, and you're somehow shocked and appalled to find that you had to play on the team of the Nazis, you must have Munchausen disease. Because you bought the game knowing that it was a multiplayer and someone has to play on the Axis forces. Otherwise, the whole idea of multiplayers doesn't work. It wouldn't be PvP, it'd be PvE. Or PvAI, I don't know. What I do know is this video is ridiculous. Extra Credits once again proves itself to be completely and utterly stupid. And I'm trying like hell not to curse because YouTube has just been a real dick to me as of late. I guess I should have seen something like this coming. It's Extra Credits. They're the same people that gave us this brilliant video.
Estimate, and understand this really is just a rough guess, I would say that the actual retail price of a modern AAA game without any additional ongoing revenue sources to support it should probably be as high as $85 to $90 new. Now, understandably, that number freaks the industry out.
Games should cost more than $60. Yeah, did you play Anthem, dude? I don't think that game's worth $10. And somehow you're going to sit here and tell me I owe game developers and publishers more for giving me a lackluster product, focusing heavily on microtransactions rather than gameplay. You and EA can both eat my whole asshole. When you hear that Extra Credits theme, you know you're looking at crap.
This is bad on so many levels. No one should ever have a random chance of fighting for the Nazis. And we should never express that there's no meaningful difference between Nazis and Allied soldiers, or that they're functionally interchangeable.
I really don't understand how this is bad on so many levels. It's a video game. It's a video game set in World War II. Someone has to play on the other side or you don't have a game. I mean, if you look at any sport in America at least, our iteration of football, the teams switch sides on halftime. Same with volleyball. Same with tennis. There's side switching. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't like the left or the right. Get over it. Fuck up, Buttercup.
And before anyone equivocates and says not all German soldiers in World War II were Nazis, if they were wearing the swastika and are functioning as an arm of the Nazi government, then unless the game goes out of its way to tell you specifically that your particular character is not a Nazi, then they're a Nazi.
Oh man. Oh God. Oh man. Oh God. Oh man. Oh God. Oh man. Oh God. Oh man.
In that multiplayer shooter, when it switched you to the German side, did it go out of its way to tell you that the person you're playing was pressed into service under threat of their life? Yeah, that's a big old nope. Oh, and on a similar note,
this is an odd flex. Number one, they're using like a Battlefield 1, I believe, which was set in World War I. So that was the German side. Two, the Iron Cross wasn't a Nazi thing. Thankfully, someone in the comments clarified it better than I did by saying this. New England, 1933. The Iron Cross was established as an award in 1813 during the Napoleonic Wars. It's not a Nazi symbol. Just wanted to point that out, buddy. From 150 to 220 to 212. There you go. What a kick in the nuts when the comment section does a little bit more research than you do. And let's face it, Extra Credits likes to stroke itself very hard when it comes to presenting themselves as some sort of bastions of morality and historical accuracy. Yet they make these sort of mistakes. 2, I don't think game developers have time to put up a little scrolling message that goes, the guy you're playing as was forced into the Nazi regime and had to fight against his will. I mean, for God's sakes, it's a game. Most gamers are sitting there and focusing on the fact that if my team sucks ass, hopefully when they mix it up, I won't be with people who are completely and utterly incompetent. No one's sitting there and going, oh no, I'm playing as a Nazi. Oh my God, I'm normalizing it by continuing to play the game. Got extra credits. What are you guys doing?
Let's please stop forcing people to play as terrorists as well. There you are, playing your modern shooter, and all of a sudden you're a terrorist. You didn't ask for this, you didn't choose this, and yet second verse, same as the first. There it is.
Who made this video? Who pitched this shit to the group and said, this would be a great idea. We're going to help gamers that don't want to play as terrorists in CSGO. Dude, playing on the terrorist team is the least of your worries in CSGO. Mother of God. What is this? I didn't ask to play in the terrorist team. Who's having an existential crisis while playing these games? Nobody. No one. I'm like amazed that they made this video. This needs to be like protected for future generations to see what happens when you get a little too high on your soapbox.
I mean, that's literally the name of your side in the game. We can do better than this.
Oh God, no. Little Timmy had to play as a terrorist. He's scarred for life. First they take down Hentai Haven and now this.
I can't see big anime titties anymore. I don't want to go on X videos, this shit's fucking gay.
Even if you put aside all of the people who have had traumatic experiences with these groups.
I love how they draw in a support group, as if to say these games are so emotionally damaging that somewhere at some support group they're complaining about CSGO and how it has affected their family. It almost looks like AA except for people who survived World War II, which is utterly ridiculous because I don't think there are any Holocaust survivors left alive. So already this little illustration is retarded. It makes no sense. And why is everyone a jelly bean? Could you have gotten an artist that graduated art school at least? I was drawing stuff like this when I was 5.
Who have lost loved ones to terrorists, or who have had generations of their families wiped out by Nazis. No one should have to put on the costume of an ideology they find abhorrent without actually opting into it in your game. And
who are these people that would buy a game that involves World War II or terrorists and then have a problem with playing on the teams? Who are these people? Who are you championing? Extra credit. Like, for real, what is this video? Was this an exercise in moronicism? Did you guys just get together and say to yourselves, how can we come up with a video so asinine the entire YouTube community turns against us? I have an idea. Let's talk about those pesky Nazis in World War II games. Ooh, they're naughty. Ooh, bad developers.
By making people do so, we get them to stop thinking about it, to stop thinking of the meaning behind these things. We normalize them. We make them just window dressing for entertainment. Those uniforms, those symbols become—
Well, here we go. We normalized Nazis in World War II. Thanks a lot, DICE. Look what you did. You've brought back the Fifth Reich, you thoughtless schnurrs. Not only did you make a horrible game, but you made Nazis cool again. Also, at no point do they ever blame Hugo Boss in this video, who was responsible for designing the Nazis' party's outfits. And let's face it, Hugo Boss knows how to make clothes. I'm not forgetting Hugo Boss, you naughty bastards. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. I'm not starting this over from the beginning. You can eat my ass.
Some things that no longer inherently revolt us. They reduce our visceral reaction to seeing the embodiment of these ideologies.
Oh my God, it's probably because people just are playing a video game and they can understand the difference between a video game and reality. This video plays as if for some reason the average gamer is brain dead. Like, we're so morally bankrupt and easily misled that for some reason playing these games would all make us Nazi sympathizers. The video may not outright say it, but it alludes to it. And it doesn't matter what they say in their comment sections. What they say contradicts what was in the video.
Now, does this make us totally ignore the history that comes with them? No.
I guess if you don't vomit at the sight of a Nazi, you're a bad person, apparently. If you watched Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and you saw the Nazi party and you didn't immediately barf all over yourself, you are a Nazi sympathizer. Extra credits 2019.
But for some people, it moves them from the territory of revolting to just edgy. It makes scrawling a swastika on something change from unthinkable to just dangerous. It means you might not take iron crosses all over a website as a warning sign that you should immediately leave. And if you don't leave, you might start reading and buying into hateful ideas there.
You might be willing to go on a website and be too stupid to realize that Nazis are bad, and you'll read a few paragraphs and buy into Nazi ideology. Extra Credit looks at gamers like we're mentally brain dead. Honest to God, this has to be one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
It seems like such a small and simple thing. But it's things like this that erode our safeguards against dangers we sacrifice so much to fight. By the time you've played 100 hours of being a Nazi, their voice stabs become memes and in-jokes with your friends. By the 1,000th time you've respawned as a terrorist, you're either celebrating them or making fun of them.
After a few minutes of watching this, I'm sure most people would pause the video and walk away because it's just that repugnant. It's not really informative, more or less, I don't know what the hell you could call it. It almost feels like it's shaming game developers and even gamers who play this and don't sit there and feel disgusted with playing as Nazis. At one point, they didn't let you know that maybe the game would be better if instead of we had Axis forces and allies, we just did red and blue. And you sit there and think to yourself, well, don't they already have that in Halo? Well, let's get rid of the Nazis and the allies. Let's do red and blue. Merry Christmas. Now it's not offensive, but then if we did that, extra credits would come out like a few months later. The gaming industry is getting a little better by having red and blue characters, but now we feel there should be gender equality. Or, better yet, make the characters gender neutral, so that way you can't tell if the gender is male or female, and no one's upset ever. Games could do better. This is the type of crap you deal with these sort of people. They almost feel as if they're not real. Almost as if a computer algorithm designed to create dissension and debate. Well, not really dissension and debate, more just dissension. You sit there and become upset with these people, and you find them to be annoying. And you think to yourself, these are the type of people that you would go to Starbucks and see as they sat there and had their Frappuccino latte. Then they give you a snide look for a split second as they turned away from their laptop to see the shoes you were wearing, to think to themselves, oh, those socks aren't biodegradable. Oh, they're not thinking about the environment. Oh, these people are so stupid. That's the type of people I think the Extra Credits folks are behind the scenes. They are freedom fighters and free thinkers trying to make the world a better place by making it as least offensive as possible, and starting with video games. I bet you these people that work on Extra Credits graduated college and this is what they're using their college degree for. Yeah, I'm speaking from experience. My sister's a college graduate. Guess what she does? Nothing. She tells me about how easy it is to be a man, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Yeah, it's real easy being a man. I'm keeping your head above water, and you're the one that went to college. Let it go. This is not the time or the place, Gundam.
Between your terrorists and your counter-terrorist squads. Frame PvP as a training exercise.
Frame PvP as a training exercise? Yeah, that sounds like real fun. If anybody wanted to play a training exercise, they'd go play paintball or airsoft. Where's the thought process here? Why would you even bother with video games that are going to dull it down that much? You know what? I need edge in my day because everything's so lukewarm, everything's so soft and cuddly right now that nothing has any balls anymore. That's why all the dudes who have attitudes and don't give a hot damn are the guys who get all the chicks because they don't care anymore. And the women are like, oh my God, he's so bad. And then you show up with the I'm with her t-shirt and wonder why you can't get your penis touched.
A good example of a game that does this is Rainbow Six Siege. All of your bomb diffusion and hostage rescue multiplayer with no normalizing terrorists. In fact, by having all of the characters as counter-terrorists, training for a...
Think about this video as they also go into Rainbow Six Siege. Hailing it is a great example of how to do the game. You know why everybody places operators in Rainbow Six Siege? Because the operators are the cool characters. Siege didn't even have any terrorist characters that are cool. The terrorist characters are so generic and stupid, it's not even funny. All right? If they had you play as terrorists, there'd be no point in playing the game because whatever side had the operators would win. The operators have all these gadgets. As a terrorist, you only had an AK. And frankly, the reason why the game focuses on the operators, you dickbags, is so that they can sell you more skins and BS. Rainbow Six Siege went from being about a tactical game into being about selling the most outlandish, stupid garbage with multi-season passes for characters, a fucking paywall where, oh, if you don't have the season pass, you gotta wait 2 weeks to be able to buy the operator for actually playing the game. Yeah, this is a great one to use. That's why I don't even play Rainbow Six Siege. And it launched as a broken state. Yes, they fixed it now, but frankly, I don't give a shit now. Rainbow Six Siege is a lot like a woman. You thought she was cute when she was younger and you first met and you were really interested in her, and she was all messed up, felt she was too good for you, and now years later, she's kind of got her act together, but she still got kids by 2 other dudes. She's in debt, and now she's ready for someone like you to show up. Eat me. Eat me.
Possible threat. It highlights how real and present of a threat that is. And if you decide that you need to have both sides be playable, don't make them interchangeable. Don't have players randomly spawn in as one or the other. Allow players to choose which side they're...
After my rant on Rainbow Six Siege, the video moves on to something completely and utterly stupid. The idea that oh my God, players can't randomly spawn. How do you expect this game to run then if nobody's on the enemy team? Where is the thought process for this? This video is dumb, dude. It is dumb. There's so much virtue signaling here, if that's the right phrase, that it just borderlines on being illogical. There's none of these points don't make sense, honest to God. How could you have a problem with someone randomly spawning in as a Nazi? So what? You don't get to choose if they need someone to fill the other side of the team. That's life. And also, it's a video game. If you're so disgusted by playing as Nazis, you could do something else. There's so many games in the spectrum, it's ridiculous. How is this even? Oh my God, this is too dumb to be living.
Wrong. Now, of course, this has all sorts of in-game problems, such as creating shorter wait times for fascists. But you know what? Those wait times could be artificially extended.
Ah, fantastic. If someone's actually dumb enough to make a game where everyone could choose what side to be on, they see the issue here. They see the wait time issue. But then they also call the person willing to play in the other team a fascist. Maybe somebody just wants to play their game. Or maybe they see there needs to be someone else on the other team so that the game can get started or end. And let's face it, when you give people a choice to choose what team they're on, you get the problem that Steam Summer Sale is currently experiencing, where everybody goes on the Corgi team because it's going to win. For God's sakes. How could you and Valve make the same mistake in the same month?
If we are saying anything in this episode, it's this. Games can do better. And in this particular case, it's not even that hard to do better. And it's no more costly to do better. All it requires is that we in the game industry be cognizant of the world around us and what these symbols we're drawing on mean. That we think as we're building, not just about the game we're working on, but about the world as a whole. If we can do that, we can take a big step forward for the industry. We can stop helping to normalize Nazis.
So playing as a Nazi or a terrorist has to mean something in an online multiplayer shooter game. This has to be one of the dumber thoughts ever. Why does it have to mean something? It's just a game. People are playing these games to escape reality. Nobody's coming here to get a face full of Saving Private Ryan, my dude. Like, what is wrong with extra credits? Really? There's so many... This video just doesn't make any sense. Like, 1 minute they'll say one thing, then they'll say something else that seems like it contradicts the last thing they said. It's just confusing at this point. And then you realize these are the type of people game developers listen to on occasion. And that's why gaming is getting really crappy. Because a couple people want certain things to change because they feel it should change and the times are different. And you know what? If you really want to be political, get into politics. You know, forget the YouTube videos, go get in politics. Go enact some sort of real sense of change. Instead of going to the place where people are trying like hell to escape all of this and then bring about the positive change you think you need to see in the world. My God. This is why I hate gaming becoming popular. because this is what we get. These are the things that happen. The second the video gaming spectrum became mainstream, all of a sudden it was all this political correctness. People are now offended by Nazis in World War II games. Well, you may as well be offended by Oxygen because it was there. It's almost as if everyone is so hell-bent on being politically correct that they no longer understand anything that doesn't fit into that sort of super hyper sterile, safe, homogenized world. They did do a comment section to try and answer what people had to say to them, but frankly, it's not worth the read. I read it. At one point, they say, we're not saying that playing as a Nazi turns you into a Nazi. No. What they did say was playing as a Nazi will make you completely and utterly neutral to Nazis. And one day you might end up on a Nazi sympathizer website, read a few paragraphs, and then start to take on Nazi ideologies. So in effect, you did technically say that these people would become Nazis, though indirectly through the game. Did you even watch your own video? And after reading the first message they had on the credits thingy, I was done. This is why I'm getting popular on YouTube. In fact, extra credits, keep doing what you're doing. I'd like to thank you and major publications for being so trash. It makes people like me.